Namaskar friends, this is the Gita English session 3. So please watch session 1 and 2 so that you can understand the correlations as the ideas flow from one session to another. Today we will talk about shlokas 517 and 518. 517 goes as तद बुद्धयस्य तद आत्मानश तद निष्ठा तत्परायण गच्छन्ते पुनरावृत्तिम ज्ञान निधूत कल्मषा. So what does that mean? Tad buddhyasya, tad atmanas, tad nishtha. Put your intellect, mind and nishtha or dedication into God realization. And that is the whole focus. Why do we say always think about God? Because you want to invest all your sukshma sharir faculties, which are man, buddhi, indriya and ego, ahankar, into God, because these are faculties which do not represent you, but these are some powers that have been given to you as part of biological life to sustain day-to-day activities, but mostly to invest in God. So tad buddhyasya tad atmanas tad nishtha tad parayana gachante punaravrittim gyan nidhut kalmasha. Once you have realized God, you will go to a place from where you will not return. So this is referring to attainment of nirvana, going beyond the lower three lokas, which are bhulok, bhuvarlok, svarglok, and once you realize, you go to the upper loks, the janlok, taplok, satyalok, even maherlok after devlok. So those are the lokas where the realized beings with certain powers of immortality exist. But basically the idea is gachante punaravrittim gyan nidhut kalmasha. You won't be caught in the karma bandhan. You will go from a point where there is no return. So that is the beauty of exclusive devotion, ananya cheta, ananya bhakti, exclusive pointed consciousness in God realization and exclusive devotion towards God. What happens once a person focuses his mind in God realization? As we have talked about the three ways of doing it: Dhyan Yoga of contemplative meditation, Nishkam Yoga of selfless service in the community, and Bhakti Yoga of selfless surrender, the loss of ego and highlighting the ego. Those three are the methods of God realization. So if you use the faculties of mind and ego and the intellect, tad buddhyasya tad atmanas tad nishtha tad parayana, you will reach a pointed, focused state in which you have realized yourself as part of the Brahman and being the Brahman. At that point, the next shloka goes as 518. Vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavi hastini shuni chaiv shapake cha pandita samdarshina. A person who has attained the vidya or the jnana, which we talked in the lesson 4, Vidya Vinay Sampanne, he is not only, he has the ammunition of Vidya, but he is also having the power of humility. See, when Vidya comes, when knowledge comes, humility will automatically follow it. There cannot be true wisdom or knowledge and arrogance. Those cannot coexist. We had, if you remember the shloka from chapter 4 that we were discussing in session 2, agyascha ashraddhanascha sanshayatma vinashyati nayam loko asti na parona sukham sanshayatmana. When there is agyash ashraddhanas, when there is agyanta or lack of wisdom, and ashraddhanas, which is faithlessness, then there is doubt. And the person who has doubt or skepticism, vinashyati, falls down further. He is neither happy or content in this world, not in the next world. And content is the precursor of creating bliss that we had learned in chapter 2, Esham Brahmi Sthiti Parth Nanam Prapi Muhyati Sitvasyam Antakalepi Brahm Nirvanam Richati. Once you are situated in peace, you will reach Brahman. And to reach peace, we had known Vihai Kamanya Sarman Pumans Charte Nispriha Nirmaman Nirahankar Shanti Madhi Gachati. We have to be excluding the kama, which is the passion of raga, and nirmamo, nirahankar, nispriha, which is lack of emotions, happiness and sadness, lack of cravings which are arising from the indriyas, and nirahankar is loss of ego, because if you surrender yourself to God, there is no self, so there is no selfishness anymore. So once you do that, you are peaceful. Once you are perpetually peaceful, you become God realized. And here again the same concept is being said, that once you gain peace, you have wisdom. Once you have wisdom, you have no confusion. That is the chapter 4 telling you. Here it says, once you have, it is building on that idea, once you have wisdom, you have humility. Vidya vinay sampanne, you are prosperous. Sampann is prosperous. So vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavi hastini shuni cha shapake cha pandita samdarshina. Once you are prosperous with vidya, which is knowledge, and vinay, which is humility, you are seeing everything in equality, in equanimity, in equilibrium. You are seeing everything as same. So vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavi hastini shuni cha shapake. The Brahman, the Gavi, which is guy, cow, Hastini is hathi, elephant, and Shuni cha Shapake. Shwan is dog, and Shapake is the Chandal, which is a dog eater in the Hindu religion. So they are saying that whether it is a Brahman, which is the highest priestly class, or any of those animals, cows, a dog, elephant, or even Chandal, which is said to be lower than the Shudras in the Hindu caste system, are all similar. He's seeing everybody similar. So it's kind of dismissing the caste system here, even that everybody has the same sparkle of consciousness in their heart, which is the Chitta, which is living as the Atman in the influence of Karma Bandhan. So Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmani Gavi Hastini Shuni Cha Shapake Cha Pandita Samdarshina. Samdarshina is equal vision, seeing them in equanimity. So let's summarize all these things. Once you have gained wisdom, you have lost confusion and skepticism that is causing vinashyati, or downfall of the Atman, and then recycling in the lower species. Okay, so we have to gain wisdom. Once wisdom is gained, you have Vinay, Vidya Vinay Sampanne. You are becoming more humble. So when you see a humble man, you know he's a knowledgeable man. He will speak less. He has less of ego. Okay. Now, precursor of Vidya is faithfulness. So faith comes from Bhakti Yoga, which is loss of the ego. Also, precursor of Vidya is peace. The peace which comes from less of hankering, desires, nirmamo, nirahankar, nispriha. So now I have given you the basic tenets of establishing jnana or Vidya. For Vidya, you need to be peaceful, perpetually peaceful, not temporary peaceful, in which case hankering, cravings will come and attach you. As we had talked in the first stage, desireless, peaceful, blissful. Okay, so you need to be peaceful. For peaceful, there are two categories of peace that you have to attain. One is from destruction of the mind sensations. What are the mind sensations? Desires, cravings, what you want to attain right away, right now. That excitement chasing tendency to dopamine. That, because you cannot remain excited 90% of the times. You can remain peaceful 90% of the times. You cannot remain excited 90% of the times. That is the way biology works. So you chase peace, not excitement. Okay, so nirmamo, nirahankar, nispriha. Free of emotions, free of cravings, and free of self-ego, me, all the time. Those three, if you are discarding all the time in day-to-day activities, by doing nishkam karma, you destroy the me. By doing bhakti yoga, you are destroying nirahankar or the ahankar. And by doing dhyana, you are seeing yourself as self-realized. So those are the tendencies to destroy the mind faculty and the indriya sensual faculties. And then of course, as we had talked, that you have to become more faithful to God in bhakti yoga, so you can recruit the indriyas or the senses in singing, chanting, enjoying things in association with God. Because you have a hard time giving up self, find yourself in the image of God, and then you try to worship the highest best version of yourself. So that is the way to get to Gyan, by establishing peace, by destroying the mind, indriya, arrogance, as well as establishing wisdom by destruction of faithlessness or ashraddha, which happens through bhakti yoga. All the three yogs are helping you get to peace. All the three yogs are helping you establish wisdom. All the three yogs will lead to faithfulness towards God in bhakti, and they will be associated with development of equanimity and humbleness or humility. Those are the characteristics of a wise man. He will speak less, he will be very humble, he will be very compassionate, he will not have the moiety of self, and that is the jnana that he's talking about. Shiro hi jnana bhyasat jnana dishite jnanat kanfal tagastas gachanti tantra. Jnana is the highest version of everything that can be done, even higher than nishkam karma, even higher than dhyan. Gyan is the highest ultimate goal of life. So that is what Gyan represents. To sum it up, my friends, the goal of life is to get Jnana through destruction of faithlessness and ashraddha, and through destruction of the mental faculties by becoming nirahankar, nirmamo, and nispriha. When you do that, then you become vinay or humble, and you become samdrisht, which is seeing everything in equanimity, in the same lens of same as me and not different from me. The unity in all verses trying to distinguish everything all. You see the singular unity that is Brahman is represented. Hope you like this lecture. Please feel free to leave your comments below. Jai Shri.